Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions, the bearers of the holy light, as we simul broadcast out to YouTube in English and Facebook in Spanish. That's just so beautiful. So many beloved mighty companions jumping these joinings and speaking, just stepping into their full purpose. Our only purpose, which is speak the voice here, speak, follow and speak the voice for God. Ask Jesus. We just go into our hearts and ask, Jesus, is my only function to speak your voice? He says, my voice is the only voice worth speaking. Ask him. He'll tell you. Just as he promises. It's been so beautiful today, really. We had a little joining with the Spanish community. We'll post that up too, because it's beautiful. It's for everyone. It just, Jesus is making it so clear. I don't know advances from going backwards whatsoever, because I was talking a little bit about it earlier. Like, it seems like, sometimes these little things arise. It seems like a back current or little eddy of upset, and he's saying that can be right in the middle of a miracle. So just ask him, is this a release? Because again, beings are reporting, sometimes it feels like smoke is rising. Ask him, is this a release or am I holding on? That's all we need to know. And we don't know it. He's the one who knows. He's the one who knows. Any other voice doesn't know a thing. I don't know how many times he's been saying through beings, you don't know anything. He said, I can hear him going, you're going to be a flesh. You're going to be a lot happier not knowing anything and let me know everything for you. Thank you, Renee. So today I'm hearing to go through chapter 7 from A New Covenant. And again, this is a reminder. These chapters are for deep contemplation, not for discussion. They're just to listen to each sentence and have a little conversation with Jesus about them. Jesus, tell me about this. So that we get in the habit of letting him tell us. I sent a letter through guidance to the Foundation for Inner Peace, and I just said, okay, here's what Jesus is saying. Everyone can speak and hear him like Helen now. Everyone, no exceptions. Hear all the videos of the beings talking to him. I mean, it's off the rails like today. Those joining groups, we're hearing it. Every joining group, you're just hearing them come through clearly, and that he will tell you directly the metaphysics. You can hear it through your brother, and it's helpful. But if you don't even have the internal discernment inside, we can't tell which brother, what's coming through that's clean, that comes out of infinite. As Rita said one time, I know the truth when I hear it. And this is just staying with the truth, speaking the truth through us, hearing his voice, speaking his voice in these sessions, in these joining sessions. And really, he's reminding me about the stepping forward. Like, it was Maria, she said, oh, I'm afraid to talk. And boy, as soon as and I could hear it from Jesus, he's just telling everyone here can speak him and hear him. Because that's why we're a magnet for each other. We're just pulling us in. And then she just started, he started talking to her and telling her just it's all just like he talks to all of us. You're loved. I love you. I'm going to be with you. I'm going to, when you hear that on the inside, there's nothing like that. You just get more enthusiastic about talking to them and joining, and the joinings get more excited. That's not excited. It just, you feel the call to it. There's love in it. It's you feel the spirit move in it, in these joinings. So chapter 7, in the beginning, the Alpha and the Omega. I'm asking him if I can talk about this today. I think it's going to come up in this. He said it's going to come up in this chapter. It's helpful when you send. Ku Young Kang is translating this book into Korean, so he sends me questions. You see, that's just helpful for the whole. And he's saying, oh, I'm saying, don't apologize for asking questions. This is for me when you ask questions, because I can go to the one who knows and ask them. And that's the level of clarity on everything we can have. Heaven knows no beginning nor end. Let's start that sentence over. Heaven knows no beginning nor end. Just as you know neither beginning nor end. In the light of divine being and honesty of God, does the light know a beginning or an end? Infinite light of being. In our direct experience as light beings. I am the Alpha and the Omega, because they are one. Pointing to being without time. Your true state is one. In the light of divine being, in honesty of God, Jesus is my true state one. So a world spun out of a tiny mad idea. The tiny mad idea is consciousness. And that was his question today. So Christ might consciousness, tiny mad idea. But you'll be able to hear him too. He'll tell you. Kelly could hear it as soon as a question was asked. The only reality is light. You can ask Jesus. Jesus is the only reality, infinite light. There is no reality other than infinite light. But when consciousness, which fragmented out from the whole, it's never truly fragmented. Nothing that comes from the Father is fragmented. Everything's holographic and contains the totality of all of it. Yet through the desire for an experience of other, or fear of seemingly creating that miscreation of the world, as Jesus has talked about, it was a fractionation of consciousness, not in truth, in concept. Concepts are fractions, or the attempt to fraction and separate all the parts and pieces, to perceive that they're misperceive that it's not whole. The consciousness is not whole. That's the misperception, that there's not totality, Christ consciousness, totalness, totality. Even in the play of consciousness has to be complete because it's of love, and love only expresses as completion. It can only be complete. The tiny mad idea is consciousness, and immediately as it spun and seemed to fragment, to hide itself from itself, so also the seeming horror and guilt from its very existence, which it attempted to bury deeply in the subconscious mind, as Jesus said, to push wholeness out of awareness. To play fractions. God can never fully bury himself from the recognition of himself. See, that's why when we look, it's the light. We always see light. Because light is the only reality. Light is the only thing that's shared because it's the only reality. So it's the desire to push light out of awareness that we look at every time we gather, to look, wait a minute, there's light here, infinite light. The light just is. And then there's no. Don't want to see it, light to light. God can never fully bury himself from recognition of himself. This is going to be one of those chapters you must discuss with Jesus. I'm asking him, is it in purpose? It is in purpose for us to look at this, but not to get in some kind of tail twist about. Okay. Just talk to him about it. And just feel in your heart, oh, Jesus, is this true? And just let him reveal it to you. God can never fully bury himself from recognition of himself. Thus, the solution simultaneously rose as superconsciousness. See, it's like the Big Bang all at once. You cannot hide from the light. It's here. God is here, period. God can't be anywhere else. But in the play of a dream, so it's a dream of fragmentation, a mad idea of a dream of fragmentation, of separation. Thus, the solution simultaneously arose as superconsciousness, the source from which both revelation and my voice comes. How can a voice appear? Because the light doesn't have a voice. It has to move through consciousness. See that the light doesn't need to have revelation because it just is. The light's here. So he's showing us the contrast between light and consciousness, which fragments into the big fat no to light, which is dreaming. Because all there is only light. That's all there is. Revelation is the experience of love, infinite, unchanging, unlimited, all-encompassing love. Love is infinite. The recognition that love is here, always. And sometimes we want it to be this kind of big, huge shebang. It's just can be like a little, oh, wait, infinite. Something here infinite. Yet this experience is not consistent and seems to be transitory because of the desire for time hidden. We can ask Jesus, do I have a desire for time hidden below my awareness in the subconscious mind? Okay. It's a body. The desire for a body is time. It's the tick-tock clock. The desire for time hidden in the subconscious mind, which creates the experience of fragmentation, miscreation of fragmentation experience, feeling parts and pieces, never feeling whole. That's its whole function. The entire functioning is to never feel complete. For it to feel like it's impossible, difficult, that it's a dismal proposition to ever wake up to wholeness. That's the play. A billion fragments. Yet within each fragment is wholeness. It can't be another way because everything's whole. Always pointing back to infinite. It's the only way it can be. In the subconscious mind, which creates the experience of fragmentation, a world that seems apart from infinite love. Is it possible, Jesus, for me to be apart from infinite love? You can hear his answer. The happy answer. Do I like to pretend like I can be apart from infinite love? And here is the answer. And do I like to pretend that there's something other than light below my level of awareness? If he says yes, you just go, yes, right again, Jesus. See, the only way supreme happiness is through wholeness. Fragmentary experience can never, but yet even the fragments have to point back to the whole. Ask them, does any single seeming fragment always point back to the whole? It has to. Thoughts leave not their source. It's a play. It's a pretend. There's just one, and thoughts arise in one. And then through the play in consciousness, it's pretend, oh my God, I've lost God. I have a desire for experience to lose God out of my awareness. You can ask him, Jesus, is that the play? The play? Yes. And relish it too, he says. He reminds me about the relishing. I must have to hear that word because I must have said it about 50 times the last couple of days. See how you relish it. Relish the experience of saying no to light. It's so direct looking at the relishing. And then accuse the light. You light have left me. How many times? That must happen about a billion times, I think, over the lifetime, over, even the spiritual search. No, Jesus, where are you? It's okay. You can talk to him like that. Talk to him like that. Say, Jesus, I don't feel you at all. But listen to what he says. He'll tell me, well, you just need to listen to me. You didn't want to listen to me. That's all. That's it. That's the whole gig. Ask him, Jesus, do I just listen to you? Yes. He's reminding us of when we're playing fragmentation, running around like we're trying to put a puzzle together, where we can never find all the pieces. He said you can drop the puzzle and just be love. Is love looking around for pieces? Does light feel like when you look at light, is that light in there looking for a piece of itself, searching for something? It just is. See, feel the wholeness of light, wholeness. It doesn't, no comprende fragmentation. It doesn't, light doesn't know what that is. Love doesn't know what fragmentation is. It's just the play saying no. We know the light's here. Jesus, do I know the light's here? Now, is anybody getting a big no from Jesus on that? We know it. Jesus, do I already know that I'm light? God's not hiding that from us somewhere. Jesus, is God trying to hide the light from me? See if he laughs on that. It's funny. The play is not to be it. Yet this experience is not consistent and seems to be transitory because of the desire for time hidden in the subconscious mind, which creates experience of fragmentation, a world that seems apart from infinite love. This is the desire for an experience of a will separate from the Father. And he talks about this extensively in the Course. I ask him, is there anything else that I need to know? He says, no, that's basically it. It's just, he's saying, yeah, sometimes we really need to see it a number of times. I think we'd all agree with that. How many times have we read the Course or looked at it? You know, he says, he reminds me, do not underestimate how much you do not want your will to be the same as the Father's. I can see it too, as he's shown me all these desires, like we go in and it's like, holy smokes, Jesus, I really don't want light. Not a peep of it. Not a candle. Not even a candle in church. But until we really see that no and release that, the wanting of something, the wanting, that desire, that wanting of other feeling, that's the level of awareness. We won't ever feel whole. You see, you just always feel like, we need that comfort because we got ourselves all discombobulated, particularly with that belief and desire. And you'll see it in chapter 20. It's like right there. It basically says, do I desire an experience of making it seem really difficult or impossible to wake up? To make it seem so difficult. And then we get really feeling discouraged about it because we desire an experience of, ask him, do I desire an experience of feeling discouraged that I'm not going to wake up? Yes. I'm willing to keep looking at that, make sure no remnants. Can I have a miracle on that, Jesus? No miracles. No, not a shred of itch for other in there. That's all we're clearing out. We're just seeing where the wanting, oh, I want others. So instead of distracting, for every other reason than to look, he's just full on looking right now. That's what I hear. Full on looking with me. Develop a relationship, ask me, talk to me all day. And even when we talk to him all day, we still sometimes don't want to talk to him. He'll tell me, he tells me, but sometimes, it's just the play. He says, you listen to me a lot, but I'm still in training, we're still in training. Still needing to listen to the one who knows. He says, always. David talks to him. We're always listening because he's the one who knows. He's the one who's in charge of the atonement. You go until he says no. You go and, if he's saying, you just go until he says all these things are released from the subconscious mind. This is the desire for an experience of a will separate from the Father. That's what we're looking at. So that energy of wanting is the wanting of a will separate from the Father. And then it goes like this, desire. And then it goes out and then you're going to feel fearful and guilty up there. So what we usually do, instead of just looking directly at the desire to be released to a miracle, we usually divert to some kind of behavior we're going to feel guilty over. Ask Jesus, he'll tell you when he's coaching you so directly. It's not about the behavior. It's not Jesus doesn't judge behavior. We're the ones who judge behavior. And make it bad. We engage in it and then feel guilty over it because we created both the rules because we desired that experience. So Jesus is just telling us how consciousness works to invest in the experience of feeling guilty. That's why he's saying, that's why he's telling us so we can't miscreate into that guilt. He's telling us when you follow the prompt, you can't miscreate. Ask him. Can I miscreate? I'm following. No, because it's divine expression full. It's expression of miracle. It's expression of love. Dun, dun, dun. The translation assistant, it's working over there. Oh. Unified consciousness is the Son of God, Christ consciousness, where there is no longer the desire to experience separation from the Father, only to celebrate what is, all that's given. So it's no longer investing in the experience of feeling fragmented and seeing where that fragmentation, I want it more than God. And just allowing that denial of wanting it more than God to just come like this. So it just, so before we would feel guilty and try to hide it and deny the denial, but now we're admitting the denial. So we just admit it. Can you see it kind of opens up the flower? That way we're not going turtle. Turtle is to deny the denial, and you want to pull all your little arms and legs in or crawl in the refrigerator and shut the door. I love that scene. It's so perfect because we can all relate to it. You just want to go in bed and put the covers up. And just go, I'm feeling resistance. That's turtle. It's just, look, that's all, right? I'm asking Jesus. Yes, look with me. I mean, because again, it's hilarious. Try this one time. turtle, totally turtle, and just go, is the light still here? And you get yes, and you see that you're turtling and you're still the light. The light's still here even when you turtle. You know, we can't shut the light out of the inside. You know, the light that lights the inside of the refrigerator won't go up, may go out, but the light that we know is here is still in the refrigerator with us because it goes everywhere we go. Ask Jesus. Does the light go ever? Yes, you're the light first. The light that lights everyone's born. It's really good. Yes, he's saying, yes, look to see that you can't escape the light, no matter how hard you try. And then that's why it gets funny, these joinings. Because then you see when this like energy rises up and you're like, so whatever. Oh, Jesus, I really want this. You start seeing that wanting energy and you're going, but I know I can't have it, but I want it anyway. I know that I'm light, but I can't have it. So you can start to see that energy is the argument. Trying to have an argument and tell the light, I am not the light. By the way, I do not want to be the light. And you'll see that energy, you know, because we're going along thinking, well, this stuff's just happening to me, until he shows you directly, yes, I want it more than God. He takes you down in there. That's all you have to see. And then you can release it with him, because release it to the miracle. Only to celebrate what is all that is given. You know, and I think I talked about that. I was looking with them and I could see not one shred of wanting to be the great rays. Not, I could see that. No, and triple no to the great rays. Because we think, you know, we're talking about, oh, I want to be awake, Jesus. Like, I really do. I want the light, until you really see, and he shows you, it's like, I don't want anything to do with it. Not anything at all. But if you don't see it, it's not funny, because what's happening is you're getting beat up by consciousness. You can always feel beat because you're still in the play. We're still in the play of the no. So we need to see how much we do not want to be the light, which is already here. Then we can laugh. In these sessions, we just laugh. Oh my gosh, I don't want to be what I already am. As mentioned, two things come from super consciousness. I'm asking him this helpful. He says, yes, so it's for me. My voice, the voice for God, and revelatory experience. Both of these transcend time and space. I asked him about joinings transcend time and space. That's why you want to join. Yes. He says, yes. See, they move to celestial order. That's why the ego wants to run from that, because it wants to keep time and space. See, in its little domain, the little domain of nodalite. Both of these transcend time and space. Oh, he's telling me when you're joining, he can arrange time and space for us. See? That's time and space rearrangement right there, he's saying. Because you see that in the joinings, more and more, the time and space fall away. Happily. I just feel expanded, because we're always expanded. Because see that the infinite light doesn't have any boundaries. Try to find a boundary in infinite light. no bounds, no beginning, Alpha and the Omega, no beginning, no end in infinite light. I am infinite. So it's really because the ego gets discombobulated and goes, oh, I'm just, everything's so expansive. And it's so like, no, we're just dropping away the idea that we were compacted, squeezed by a trash compactor, you know, into a little cube of a body. It's the body, it's that body image that seems to lock us into a shape that just starts falling away and we feel very light. There's less emphasis on the body. It doesn't feel so dense. Nothing feels dense. As dense. You see, that density falls away because it's a concept. Density is a concept. Okay. From the subconscious mind's denials of divinity, the hidden desire to deny divinity and the hidden beliefs that drive all pain and suffering and the experience of a world. In this is the drive for pleasure, the seeming polar opposite of pain, an attempt to escape pain, and the unending looping of experiencing other. So like, rather than don't let the wrong mind go. This is a go to Jesus and like really be with this so that it becomes direct metaphysics. That's what he was telling me to say. Don't let your wrong-minded spin in metaphysical things anymore. Don't spend any time on metaphysical things anymore, unless you're talking to him directly and say, will you explain this to me? And then you can have a one-on-one. And then he's saying everything else is direct experience through joining with me, joining with your brother to clear those denials. That'll be the fastest way. And then following me when I'm giving you a prompt. Follow me. Okay, so we'll start here. Jesus is, because it may not seem obvious at first, is pleasure the same as pain? So pleasure is a play in consciousness to pretend like pain can be escaped. So I'm in pain now, and I'm going to get out of it. See, somehow I'm going to escape it, and then it'll be happy. I'll have a happy vacation. You can ask them, does that deny happiness? So it puts experience, it all in time and space. Consciousness is a play within time and space, where happiness is a future objective experience. It's conditional. X has to happen, then I'll be happy. Y has to happen, then I'll be happy. If X happens, I'll be sad. But even thinking about it, you're still experiencing happiness and sadness all within that. And then it runs little movies, happy movies. You remember that time we were on the beach? It was so happy. That, I just asked them directly. That is death. That's called death. It's not bad to have memories, but just see when they're called conditional. They're not seen in wholeness. It's a fragmentary, looking back at a fragment to go, oh, that's where happiness is. It's in that outpicturing. That remembered experience will give me happy. So then what it does is then it goes like this. Now, if I just go on that vacation again, happiness will be there. Which just extended out time, the misperception that time exists, rather than seeing happiness is your identity, like your happiness, period. Regardless of a vacation. We're just taking a vacation from happiness, which is really a little trip to pleasure and pain. So it's creating the experience of something outside of ourselves, giving happiness. And we can't see where, you can ask them directly, Jesus, can I see where these things are? He says unequivocally, no. I can't see, because we've made ourselves so blind in that maze, and we're fighting them so hard. I can see it. Admit it, fighting him so hard when he tries to take the scissors away. I'm gonna duke it out with the light. Even though we know we're the light, we're gonna duke it out with the light. Even if we know for sure we can't win. Let's just see, can we have a single fight with the light and win? Let's just be clear. One fight with infinite light and do anything to light or change anything, or no. Well, we do it anyway. We like it. Okay. Consciousness loves that play until it sees the death in it. See, because what will happen is with these desires, and then beings will say, well, I've looked at the desires. Well, first you have to keep going with them, because he's the one who knows how deeply these little things are buried, that big fat nose buried. And how far we're willing to go, because we like, as I said, going to the pool of infinite light and just stick our toe barely in there when we're already light, and so we won't go down, and we won't focus, because that's a plain consciousness. It's going to start thinking about all the other things that it has to do other than look directly with Jesus. It's really, things start to move when you just go, no, balls to the wall. I'm looking at it directly as much as I can. Jesus, is that helpful? To turn that focus to looking directly at denials rather than all those distractions that we feel like we have to do. And he's promising when we do this to take care of all the minutia. What attempts to escape pain is what has the desire for it, while denying the desire for it. And be with that one for a while. That's a good one to be with Jesus on. Let me see if I have this right, Jesus. This is the way it works. What attempts to escape pain. See, notice when you're in pain, we'll just get curious and just notice how we want to escape the pain. So what's trying to escape it without directly looking at it? And escaping pain, I'm asking them, escaping pain is taking a placebo for it, by the way. Just I'll mention that. He's saying, yes, it's helpful. So what's trying to escape it is actually the desire to keep it. Jesus, do I have a desire to keep pain? That's why we really have to stop and really look at pain deeply. It's the direct road in. So any being who says, oh, I'm still talking about pain, good, join, because you're helping everybody through it. Because that's a really trump card in consciousness. Big trump card in consciousness, pain. This desire will take you home. Looking at the desires directly with him will take you home. He's unequivocally about it. You can ask him. Releasing these desires through miracles Thank you, Jesus. Love from San Juan Kosala.